think that I deliberately seek out films for use in this show. Now, sometimes I do think of films that I saw perhaps days, weeks, even years earlier that I knew were deserving of the Jean Premiere treatment. But more often than not, trying to find films for use in this show would be extremely inefficient. So there's a lot of wasted time watching films, looking for something on the off chance that it might be suitable. Many a time, they are not. I've seen many that are bad, but not bad enough. It has to be something that truly provokes me into thinking, c'est quoi ce bordel? For it to make the cut. The one I find today, I come across by pure happenstance. I was scrolling through many of the streaming platforms out there today, looking for something to watch. And I happened to scroll past one, and I saw Rob Schneider on the poster. To say the least, I kept on scrolling without hesitation. But then something stopped me. And I go, did I see what I thought I saw? And I had to scroll back and see what the briefest glimpse I saw of the synopsis was. And it turns out I did see what I thought I saw. Rob Schneider is trained by a martial arts master. I had to give that one a try. And it certainly was not what I was expecting. Today I present Big Stan.
It's a timeshare.
Well, it's called a timeshare. But the truth is, for the 2 weeks you're at the condo, you're not sharing anything. You're not sharing the bathroom. You're not sharing the toaster. Nothing. Nada. Zip. You are the mistress of all you survey.
Right at the start, he's playing a total sleazebag. Par for the course for a Schneider film. So it looks like he's less selling and more seducing whoever it is he's talking to.
My nephew looked up the neighborhood on the computer.
And he just got shot down by a nasty old woman. That look says it all.
Your nephew?
Nephew? Ew. Well, now I know who's coming on to next.
He said the condo was in a bad neighborhood. Relax.
Oh, so she is the shithead in this scenario. What a racist bitch. A from out of nowhere production. But I can certainly agree with that. We've seen exactly 2 people so far, and I already loathe them both. So that was certainly out of nowhere.
You're right. You're right. The condo is in a rather poor, majority black neighborhood. And you know what? I'm glad you brought it up. Seriously. Otherwise, I might have done something that I'd be ashamed of later. And that would be...
not retiring from making films immediately.
And I say this at the risk of sounding a little racist.
You're in like-minded company. Why hesitate?
Black dudes love white women. Love them.
O.J. Simpson certainly lent credibility to that theory.
Now, I don't know if it's genetic or if it's society. I mean, we can argue nature versus nurture all day, but it's a scientific fact that black men can't get enough of white women. And don't think that a woman of your age would be safe from their advances. No, ma'am.
That's right.
These big black bucks don't care whether you're young or old, skinny or fat, walking or with 2 wrinkled stumps right below the knees. They want your white flesh.
Mon Dieu, he's actually a ghetto pimp.
I'll take it.
And it's working? She will take the big black cock. This is where I nearly turned off the film. This is exactly the kind of thing I would expect from Rob Schneider. I don't want to see any more of that.
You can't go in there.
Here you go.
Stand Mitten.
I'll be with you gentlemen in a second. Go on, sign it.
Stand Mitten. You're under arrest for fraud.
And also being a very nasty pimp with no shame.
Sign it, you white Jezebel!
I'll call Mal.
You guys are gonna regret this. Call my attorney.
She actually signed it. Is she really that stupid? Well, she did agree to be in the film. Obviously she is.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
The jury certainly is not. They find him guilty before the title of the film even comes up in the credits.
What the fuck just happened in there?
You lost, Stanley.
I didn't lose. You're the lawyer. You lost.
I'm truly sorry.
Damn it, man. I'm rich. I wanted some of that OJ justice.
That was due to the prosecution making huge mistakes. Harvey Weinstein was just as rich. It did not save him.
In this state, first-degree fraud carries a mandatory minimum of 3 to 5 years.
I got it. We bribed the judge.
I'm not going to bribe the judge.
Bribe him.
I'm not going to bribe him.
Bribe him?
Oh, please. I'm not going to bribe him. Bribe him! No! I told you. I don't practice that kind of law, and I never will. You want to bribe the judge? You be my guest. I'm sure any shyster on the street will be happy to do it for you.
Mal?
That is the kind of person you never want to call. Even Saul Goodman would advise against it.
Mr. Popper, is your client ready for sentencing?
He is, Your Honor.
Do you have anything you'd like to say before the court passes sentence?
Your Honor, my client has been convicted of fraud in the first degree, a crime of which he is innocent. But even if he were guilty, and his customers were defrauded, isn't it better that Mr. Minton, as a resident of Los Angeles, received the money, thereby keeping it in the community, as opposed to some gypsies or traveling Mexicans?
Is there anyone in this film who is not racist? Then again, this is a Rob Schneider film. Let's consider what else he's done.
Prince Habibi.
Habibu. What? I'd never heard that one.
I get profits from store.
No.
Some profits.
No.
I get free yogurt when I come to store.
Keep Pop Anonymous?
Damn you! You gave me the easy ones!
My ancestors believe, for spirit, come down from mountain during time of fire, wind.
Yeah, Mr. Minton, you are hereby sentenced to serve a term of no less than 3 years at the Verlaine State Correctional Facility. Now, normally your sentence would begin immediately. However, I'm going to delay your incarceration for 6 months so that you may reorganize the charity that you've established to teach music to retarded children.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, court is adjourned.
I don't get it. We bribed the judge and I still get a 3-year sentence?
That was mandatory. The judge couldn't fix that. Now you got 6 months to set your affairs in order.
My affairs are already in order.
My legal opinion is that you take a Brazilian vacation. Permanently.
Sounds like fun.
I can't do that. Those crew grants were the last liquid asset I had. The rest of my money's frozen in the bank. I'm not gonna run away and leave $7 million behind.
Well, Stan, my old man had a saying. You walk through a locker room, you're going to see some dick.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means you rip off enough people, eventually you're going to go to jail.
How can those two things be remotely equivalent?
Well, thanks. That's really comforting.
Hey, I'm a crooked lawyer. I know I'm going to jail someday. You don't see me crying about it.
I spoke too soon. This must be Saul Goodman's mentor.
I could be in jail right now. That Popper's one hell of a lawyer.
I'm gonna be awfully lonely while you're gone.
A gold digger like that would jump to the next rich guy in a heartbeat. So Schneider decides to acclimate himself to the environment he's heading for and goes to a dive bar. There he finds an ex-inmate and asks how to survive prison.
How am I gonna do in there? I mean, if you saw me, would you beat the shit out of me?
I'd probably rape you.
You'd rape me?
Yeah.
So it's true, huh? A lot of guys turn gay in prison?
I'm always gay. I only rape people in prison.
You're gay?
Yeah. This is a gay bar.
My. Schneider came closer than I thought to tasting the prison lifestyles there.
You join a gang? Are you a racist?
Not really.
Bullshit. We saw you ghetto pimping at the very beginning.
Okay, I bet I can be a racist for 3 to 5 years. A real racist, hardcore.
Yes, you already are, as are your customers. And your lawyer.
Then you can join the Nazis.
Excellent.
Then you won't be raped by the other Nazis.
Raped by Nazis?
In any other films, that line might be considered off-color. But this is a Rob Schneider film. This is exactly what I was expecting. terrified of a dick going up there, but anything else is fair game. He even wants his wife to be the first one to stick something in. Starting down the road to masochism makes him decide to take up martial arts, and that is Daehan. Not only that, but the jury foreman from the beginning was in Best of the Best as well. I must take back my commendation of Best of the Best from my Black Belt review. Their presence in this film retroactively taints that one.
I've been coming here for a week and I'm still doing this baby stuff.
How did he get a yellow belt in 1 week? Even the most shameless McDojo would never stoop that low. Daehan, you have fallen so far, you should have exited the universe by now.
When am I going to learn to kick some ass? I'm a yellow belt. Nobody's afraid of a yellow belt.
What, you think you're ready to move up in rank?
Yeah, that's right.
Huh. Fine. You'll have your chance. Hey, Seymour! Come on.
All right.
Seymour?
What happened to that kid on the left? Now Schneider's getting his ass kicked by a tiny, oddly ugly man. And then the tiny, ugly man gets beaten up by another tiny, ugly man. The tables have not turned, so it's on a full 360.
You can forget about your refund.
Is that all you got?
Ah, that's the Daehan we all know. So glad to have you back. Oh no, it's David Carradine. I can guarantee you he is not sober in that moment, or any other moment.
That's some technique you got.
And he's been heavily smoking. What, I do not care to know. I suppose we're supposed to be impressed by that, but that was not in the script. David Carradine did that on every set he was on.
I just met the best guy, and guess what? He's agreed to be my trainer.
Really? What's his name?
The Master.
This is not Doctor Who, but considering what Doctor Who has become, this is actually a vast improvement.
I'm so sorry, the Master, but there's no smoking in the house.
Yes, there is.
You should change his title from the Master to the Asshole.
Young lady, what I teach is not art. It is science. A careful amalgam of the most deadly parts of karate, kung fu, Wing Chun, Krav Maga, Muay Thai, Savat, and Filipino Kali.
That would have been impressive if the film did not actively contradict it. In the credits, it actually lists the actual martial arts that ended up getting used, and several of the ones he listed were not on there.
I'm gonna take a shit.
Please take some shit from this film. It's already overflowing with it.
Wake up, weakling.
What the hell are you doing in here?
It's time to begin your training.
But it's 5 in the morning. Is that liver?
It's your breakfast, and every moment you delay, I squeeze out more of its vital juices. Trust me, you'll need them later.
Okay, I'm up.
But are you ready? Look what I found beside your bed. This is weakness.
Kwai Chang Caine is waving a dildo. I will never be the same again. Starting here is all the stuff I was expecting. Rob Schneider being tortured in ridiculous ways under the pretense of martial arts, which is satisfying my expectations in twofold ways. This satisfies both my expectations of the film's premise and my desire to see Rob Schneider tortured. That one in particular made me wonder if this is what David Carradine actually got up to in his spare time. I know how you died, monsieur. This might have been prophetic. Eventually, Schneider starts to get the hang of it in cliché montage fashion, where we discover where he finally stands.
Here's to Stan Mitten, my second finest.
And now we know for certain he will end up battling the first. That's some lazy writing right there.
Second finest? Who's number 1?
Hope you never have to find that out. He used what I taught him not for his own protection, but for evil.
Well, fuck that guy. Here's the number 2.
Fucking a guy in number 2 is exactly why you took up this practice, Schneider.
Stan has one final test.
What could that be? Oh, hi, Dehan. Dehan went from Korean karate champion to running to shittiest McDojo in the world and losing to Rob Schneider? Kill yourself. There's no coming back from this. But what's Schneider got to worry about? What is he gonna do? Throw him in jail? That's exactly what happens in the very next scene.
This your first time? Hey, sweetie. Ain't you got a name?
That is Don Fry, one of the earliest legends of the UFC. This film's throwing professional fighting legends into bit parts. Should I expect Don Wilson to show up next?
Talk to me again, I'll twist the whole damn titty off.
He just got titty twisted by Rob Schneider. I should hope he was paid well.
What gives you the right to do... Ow!
Same as this little man who was knocked into the ceiling by an implausible kick.
I said that's my bunk.
Yeah, I guess it is.
You might want to change the sheets. I'm kind of a compulsive masturbator.
But that little man certainly wants that battle. On the heels of that lost battle, Schneider decides to balance out his score by picking a fight with King Khan from Journey Quest. That bastard is affiliated with Zombie Orpheus Entertainment. Schneider, punish him sternly. That was not a stuntman. That was actually Schneider. I was not expecting that at all in this film.
All right, listen here, player, all right? We want you to join up with us, know what I mean? Because some niggas are gonna tear you.
Oh! He's Jewish, you Aryan idiot. Now Rob Schneider has become a full-on action hero. This film has done more than take a 90-degree turn. It's broken into the fourth dimension. Who stunt-directed this? Mike Bunter. What else has he done? Shang-Chi? A man like that, doing a film like this, is akin to a world champion fighting in a local tough man competition. Or a Don Wilson film. Hey, I recognize that guy. He was in a film with Don Wilson. Schneider, destroy him! Wait a minute. He's doing legit eskrima. Those are textbook techniques and he's doing them right. Who taught him that? Daniel DeSanto? Bruce Lee's right-hand man? Well, I certainly hope he provides a proper challenge.
That was pathetic.
Not unexpectedly, Sir Warden calls Rob Schneider into his office. But not for the reason we would expect. Mon Dieu, I'm using that word a lot lately.
It's a nice-sized property. Great views of the foothills in the city. Level grade. I'm assuming there's bedrock beneath us. Easy access to downtown. I see some nice development potential. Too bad you got a prison on it.
Exactly. You know it's no accident you came to Oaksburg.
The Warden wants Schneider's real estate expertise to convert the prison into timeshare condos. And in exchange, Schneider gets out early.
I got blues.
Mr. Abbott. He ain't gonna know him.
Now on the heels of that good news, we get to watch Schneider doing a naked, happy, dancy butt scene. In the shower. Is every prison movie required to have a violent shower scene?
Cracker, please.
Bruce Lee is currently spinning like a drill bit in his grave, so he can escape and haunt the Innocento mercilessly. In fact, wasn't there a film actually called Bruce Lee Fights Back from the Grave?
Bruce Lee wstaje z grobu I walczy.
Yes, I thought so. This is still more shameful.
Come on, race trader.
It was the first time ever in a prison shower. He did not drop the soap. The soap dropped him.
He's all yours.
He just handed over the neo-Nazi to the black gang. Remember what he said earlier about the black men loving the white flesh? It's coming to fruition right now. All over that neo-Nazi's anus. And back to the warden's office, where the real estate deal progresses and hello, the master's most best student. They haven't said so, but they could not make it more obvious. And yes, he's the partners with the warden to create the condos and get the prison shut down. How convenient! Now here's the master himself, playing with his own balls. We needed a return to that typical Schneider humor after that surprisingly well done action. Followed up by discovering that someone else has been playing with the master's balls. Uh-oh. And now for... I don't really know why. Schneider decides to play Mr. Rogers and promotes peace among all the prisoners, including Randy Couture. Why is he in this film? For the same reasons that everyone is in this film. They need a paycheck and they have no shame. Suddenly peace breaks out all over the prison. Look at those silly tiny hats. I knew his going to the gay bar was really preparation for this place. I guess David Carradine's old man noodle wasn't enough as a gold digger because she shows up for a conjugal visit.
I guess being away from me this long made you crazy, huh?
Well, yes, I guess. The master's really opened my eyes sexually. He showed me all these different positions in the Kama Sutra.
This revelation is disrupted by the warden, who reveals he is going to orchestrate an inmate riot to get the prison shut down. If Schneider interferes, he will be handed over to the master's best student, who has just revealed his lineage by destroying the set needlessly, just like Carradine. Speaking of Carradine, Schneider wants revenge on the master now, so he agrees to take the early parole deal and begins sowing strife among the prisoners. To which he receives his parole hearing the very next day, with the master and his two-timing wife in attendance. During his parole hearing, specifically timed to keep Schneider out of the yard as the riot commences, he does in fact receive parole, but it will be at the cost of untold amounts of prisoners. So he deliberately fails the hearing so he can get back inside to stop the riot before it commences. And also to discover that the master is in fact not capable of getting a woody.
You're impotent, that's great.
Not really.
He must have been a Shaolin monk for far too long. And Schneider gets an extended sentence when he could have walked outstairs that very day.
The master has taught you well.
Don't tell me. You study with the master too?
I am his number one.
I didn't see that coming.
We all saw that coming. That was just as obvious. In the ground in Seattle, Bruce Lee is giving thanks that he is in fact dead, so we did not have to see that just now. I really hate this trope. When the hero has so much skill that no one gives him a challenge, and then when he finds the one person who's better than him, he becomes absolutely helpless. You have skill, Schneider. Not as much as he does, but still plenty of it. Use it. Yes! Give him the finger. Show him you have some semblance of spine. No, not like that.
Somebody didn't strengthen their titties.
Well, what do you know? It's like hanging nipple torture actually paid off. What a shame it didn't do the same for Carradine. And while those two are having a needlessly long duel, the riot commences. While the #1 student gets taken out prison style. In more ways than one. And then we discover Schneider did not have to throw away his parole after all. The riot was never going to happen. His preaching of peace actually stuck. What a gigantic friggin' anticlimax. In cliché, pompous villain tradition, the warden orders his guards to open fire on the dancing prisoners despite the fact they pose no threat. And of course they don't do it. So he decides to do it himself, right in front of the Board of Governors. It's curtains for him. 3 years later, Schneider is finally on his way out. Right as his lawyer is on the way in. Well, he did say his incarceration was inevitable. And Danny DeSanto was replaced as prison chef by Schneider's cellmate. Did DeSanto come to his senses to quit the film, or did getting knocked flat in his face actually kill him? At least we know the warden got exactly what he deserved. King Khan there will let him know exactly who's really in charge now. Ending on a cliché right out of the shot, we discover that Rob Schneider was in fact a director. And now it all falls into place. It was the only way Rob Schneider could become an action hero who promotes peace, because he was calling all the shots from a director's chair. I should have to assume he probably wrote this as well. C'est Quoi, c'est Bordel? Written by Josh Lieb? The producer of News Radio? One of the best 90s sitcoms that was smart and edgy and gave us Phil Hartman's greatest role ever? That man wrote this? Did he take several blows to the head after News Radio wrapped? I know what it is. This screenplay was Schneiderfied. Schneider's unique taint must have perverted it in the most literal way. Danny DeSanto must have been Schneiderfied as well. It's the only explanation. With that, it's over. And I'm at a loss. That was, not good by any means, but certainly much better than I had any reason to expect. Every shot of action that Schneider did, I was looking for a stuntman. And aside from one shot only, I never saw one. That was really Schneider doing all of that. For which I place the blame firmly on Danny DeSanto. What would the late great Mr. Lee have to say about that?
Excelsior!
Wrong, late great Mr. Lee. I'm going to have to fire my editor. What would the late great Bruce Lee do to Danny DeSanto over this? And rightfully so. In the end, I must give this solid thumb sideways. Neither down nor up. On one hand, it completely defied my expectations, and on the other, gave me exactly what I was expecting. Which is still more than I ever expected to give a Rob Schneider film. And now that I've given legitimate praise to Rob Schneider of all people, I'm now going to get rip-roaring drunk so I can forget that I ever did that. Au revoir.